We started out as the staff of life. It built the ancient civilizations of Rome, of Egypt, of Babylon. And now the whole system is built upon the idea of industrial efficiency and low-cost food and abundance. But the price at which cheap food has come to us is so high, our great-grandchildren will be paying it in the terms of health care, in terms of cleanup of pollution. And right now, the industrial model of agriculture is putting most farmers out of business. When I first started in 1986, there wasn't anybody within 150 miles that was going organic. Most of my neighbors figured that I'd been in California too long, and they'd come home with these wild ideas that would never work. And then when I converted the whole farm to organic, then they were just dumbfounded. But I never started a new project with the idea that it might fail. I take a 6-inch sample first, and then after I take the 6-inch sample, I go down to 18 inches. Then this is sent into a soil laboratory, and they will do the analysis for me. So by rotating your crops and building up your soil with different crops every year, every other year, the soil is actually maturing and getting more stable and more diverse. It's more like the prairie. So what an organic farmer tries to do is mimic nature. The closer we can get to mimicking nature through rotations and companion cropping, the closer you're going to be to having success. I feed the people by feeding first the soil and then adding to that soil good seed. Ancient grains, in a very simplistic way, are grains from ancient civilizations. They've been around thousands of years. They've been selected for taste, for yields, for resistance to pests, but they've not been manipulated by biotechnology in any way. Since we're talking about seeds, we'll talk about starting the life cycle with seeds. So these are seeds, product of modern wheat breeding. These are very high yielding seeds. But 20% of the people in this country cannot eat this wheat anymore for digestive reasons or all kinds of sorts of maladies. Well, that's not the success story in my mind. These seeds are ancient, coming from ancient plants, ancient seeds, essentially unchanged for 1,000 years or more, since it was first collected as land races by the primitive farmers from the wild. We started with just a handful of grain 30 years ago and a half acre on our first commercial growing of this ancient grain has now expanded to 100,000 acres, 250 organic farmers all over Montana, Alberta, and Saskatchewan. And the results of that goes all over the world to nourish people. To me, that's, I never expected anything like that. I'll never forget that he came up to me just out of the blue and said, "Thank you for growing food for my family." And at that point, I never thought of it that way before. I didn't start thinking about it this way. For me, harvest is the culmination of a year's efforts of planning, then planting, then watching until it is finally ready to bring out of the field. You know, what I really try to do is encourage people to think about the connection between food and health. It could change the way we do everything with agriculture throughout the world. That's the legacy I would like to be a part of.
I was one of the original skeptics because I was like, how much different or better could fresh milled, identity preserved grains be? We had 24,000 mills in this country 120 years ago, and today we have 166. And it's all about the cheapest grain possible, the highest volume output possible. We have a chance to reinvent that. We have a chance to go back in time a little bit, embrace the ancient craft of stone milling, put a modern twist on it in a way that also makes our community more healthy and resilient and contributes to the viability of farming. These are the stones that go in the stone mills that are behind me. We purchased them. They were actually made in Ethiopia. They were originally designed to mill teff, which is the world's smallest edible seed. The reason we chose these stones is because you have to put a lot of pressure on small seeds to make them into flour. And so they're not a traditional stone made out of quartz or granite. This is a flint and emery aggregate. So they are very, very, very hard, and they make it perfect for commercial flour milling. Caimspring Mills is a regional mill that sources grains direct from the farmer, mills them fresh, and sells them to home bakers and professional bakers up and down the West Coast and across the country. And what we're hoping to do is transform a system from one that isn't sustainable to one that contributes to our health and our vitality, both here and anywhere else there's a new mill. What's at stake here isn't just my livelihood or a few jobs. What's at stake here is this dream and the idea that the community is invested in. This wheat, this is Yacora Rojo, hard red spring wheat. When we first started test milling this wheat after we built the mill, we sent samples to the bakers here and then down to Chad and at Tartine in California. And Chad was the first call back. He just said, "Kevin, what the hell are you guys doing up there? This is the best flour I've ever used." I just took a bite of that bread and said, wow, I could not believe the difference in flavor, color, aroma. And so I was all in at that point. We are paying farmers a premium above commodity so they can actually make a living growing grains. We are paying our employees family wage jobs. And we are supplying some of the best bakers around with really good flour that they're having exceptional results with. Might look like what we're doing is milling flour. What we're really doing is revitalizing our community and showing the world that there's a better way. This isn't just about flour, but it's about something bigger.
You take an island girl who grew up with what was available on that island, who went and got classically trained in French cuisine. You mash all that up together with the wonderful farms and seafood we have in Louisiana, and that's what it ends up being.
Fire, hush puppy.
She takes absolutely all these different pieces of her of the things she's learned along the way.
We're sitting at 100 covers right now, mostly small parties. We have no many additions tonight. All right, let's have a good service. Thank you, guys. I started cooking with my grandmother and my mom when I was very young. It was kind of a hobby. Two hush puppies sharing on 17B. And I told my mom, I want to be a chef. And she's like, why would you want to be a chef? It's so stressful. You know, it's hot. You know, you're going to cut yourself. I'm like, but Mom, it makes me happy. And I wake up every single day and I'm happy that I chose this path, because there's not a day that I wake up and say it's a job. For me, it's really about finding joy. And sometimes it's not even about having a busy dining room. Sometimes it's just a quiet moment. Whether it's just me in the kitchen and I'm making pasta, the sounds and the smells, for me, just makes my day like filled with joy. The way people treat caviar, the way people treat truffles, that's the way I treat flour. I want to let it shine for what it is, and that's through pasta, that is through my biscuits. It is showing the difference between regular flour and this beautiful premium product of freshly milled flour. There's nothing like it. The scialatelli is made with durum flour. I like the flour because it is chewy. Then I add milk, which is very traditional, a little bit of basil, and then that's the dough. Once you start to knead the dough, it becomes very elastic and the gluten develops. And I think of any pasta dish, it's really about the noodle. You know, when you try cavatelli, you try scialatelli. A lot of people like that dish because they appreciate the texture of the noodle. The beauty of every dish that you make starts with the ingredients that you have, and it's about the quality. It's not about masking, it's about the simplicity of that ingredient and letting it shine. That's a bowl of love. And it's not about the aesthetics, it's more about soul satisfying. So when you leave that day, you're craving that dish. There's a lot of things that are so unique about these different types of flours. They all have different attributes that create a dish. The possibility of wheat is actually endless.
If you want to make a change in agriculture, it's not so important how fast you're going, it's important the direction you're going. And even though it seems slow to a lot of people, it's the right direction to go.
There's not just one possibility. It spans cultures, and it's something that spans this planet. I think we have the possibility of a world nourished by clean, nutritious, flavorful grains once again.